What's up, Go enthusiast? This last weekend, we've seen the first couple rounds of the LG Cup. It's another major world championship, just like the Lanki Cup, which we're still waiting for the finals to happen. But we saw the round of 24 and the round of 16. There's 8 players seeded into the round of 16. And in one of those rounds, we saw the matchup Shin Jun-so versus Li Juanhao. It's been a very anticipated matchup to happen over a real board for a long time. I phrase it like that because these two have played before. They've played when they were very young, and they played again about a year ago in an important online match, the semifinals of a world championship. And after that game, where Li Juanhao won, Yang Denshin, another top 9 Dan professional, one of the top 10 players in the world, accused Li Juanhao of cheating. Of course, anyone beating Shin Jin-so is really hard, and to be able to do that, you have to play at a level where it's pretty hard to tell whether you're cheating or not because you just don't make almost any mistakes throughout the whole game. So the Chinese Weiqi Association ran a investigation. They concluded that Li Junhao did not cheat, or if he did, it was like inconclusive that he could. I also looked at the game. I also think that Li Junhao did not cheat. Yang Denshin actually got a punishment for that, but still is able to appear in World Championships. Anyway, because of that drama, these two playing again, but over a real board with no possibility of anyone cheating, has been a highly anticipated match. And this last week it happened in the round of 16 of the LG Cup. Let's take a look at the game. Shin Jin-so played white, Li Juanhao played black. They start with some 3-4s, some 4-4s, and a lean, very classic Li Juanhao. Just playing a normal Joseki, Shin Jin-so playing a normal Joseki, Li Juanhao chooses a 2-space pincer. And Shin Jin-so tenukis. This is also what I like to do against the 2-space pincer. Just I find it easy to play this kind of position afterwards. When black kicks, Shin Jin-so plays the diagonal. Most people will just extend up, but if you do that, you end up a little bit heavy with your 2 stones, and basically it's harder to make eye space, and it's harder to show that you're putting pressure back on the M4 stone. So easier to handle when you play the diagonal like this, and what Shin Jin-so is doing it for is that he knows he has a good move now. The P7 shoulder hit, 5th line shoulder hit, is a move that we've studied with AI. If we did this before AI, we would think it's crazy. Not because of what Black did, but because if Black just answers, they get free 4th line territory. But after AI, we have a different conception about this kind of variation. Instead of thinking Black's territory is so big, we're thinking more like the black corner was already very strong. All they do is they keep pushing on the 4th line, is get more territory. It's not enough. And the black shape overall is just too thick there, and black loses control in the bottom side where he was supposed to be attacking white. So instead of continuing to play moves on the right side, Li Juanhao chooses to cut. So he says, if I'm to be too strong in the corner, then fine, I can cut you, and I can use that strength to fight against you. And Li Juanhao is right. This is a reasonable way to play. White plays Atari now and then connect. Actually, this is a little strange. I don't understand why Shin Jin-so didn't play just extend first. Then if black would play here, then he could do anything other than turn there, right? And maybe the shape would be better. But I think he thought that black would do something other than extend there. So he tried to force the black extend and then connect like this. Black plays turn. So he wants to cover the cutting point at P7, that original shoulder hit stone. Since he is basically swallowing that cut, if he can make it that Shin Jin-so has no effect on any of the outside black stones, then he can score a victory in this fighting. So he turns, and Shin Jin-so, looking to use that cut, needs to Hane. And Li Juanhao Hane's back, and Shin Jin-so pushes, and Li Juanhao pushes, and Shin Jin-so Hane's again. I feel like sometimes people think this kind of sequence is for double-digit Qs only. Like a lot of Dan players, they're embarrassed to play like this. Like, oh, you turn there, then if I just Hane and we just fight a pushing fight all the way across the board, then I feel like a double-digit Q. But even the top players in the world play like this sometimes just because it's correct. It's what you have to do. And in this case, if Shin Jin-so would ever back down from trying to use that cut, he could lose value. If Li Juanhao would back away and protect himself too early, then he could lose value. He might not be able to swallow as well. So both players have to press as hard as they can. The only difference between this and double-digit Q pushing battles, in my opinion, is that they really pay a lot of attention to the cuts. That's the only thing that's different between this. It's not the strategy, it's just the tactical detail that you have to be very aware when your shape is becoming too thin to be able to continue. And in this case, Li Zhuanhao realizes he's too thin and he comes back to protect his cut like this. If he would continue, then White's cut here would put 2 black roofs to only 2 liberties, and it would be really difficult for Black to show that that was going to be powerful, that there was some way that he could continue to swallow this area. Like, it's just hard fighting from there. So Li Zhuanhao takes the very thick shape, and that gives Xun Junso time to, after making this Atari, to take a position on the bottom. So Xun Junso is trying to say, if he can take the whole bottom side shape, that is too good for White. And on the right side, this black shape, it also looks really good, but there's still potential for Black to invade after this move on the third line. I mean, sorry, it's still potential for White to invade, but after this move, there's not potential for Black to invade this one. So that's what Xun Junso is going for. He's saying between these two, mine, you're not going to have any tricks to use. I'm going to have some tricks to use over there. So actually, I like mine more. That's what Xun Junso says. And Li Zhuanhao kind of agrees. He doesn't directly go to like take this area or anything like that. He plays to build very, very aggressively. So not just the right side, but the top side too. All of it. Let all of it be Black's. Black has fixed his cut. It actually looks really quite nice for Black. The problem is that Xun Junso has the first move, and he can spend it to break something. So he plays this nice move at R12. It's actually a really nice asking move. It's at just the right point where if Black would fall back at R10, it would feel that he's small. So Black plays on the other side instead. If he just does this one, the Black shape here, it was supposed to be enormous, majestic, right? Beautiful. It was supposed to be way too big for the number of stones invested. But when the shape looks like that, it's like it's only fair. It's not particularly good for Black. It's not particularly bad for Black. It's just fair. But what White has done on the bottom side was supposed to be unfair for White. So if you allow something to be unfair for your opponent and only fair for you, you should naturally lose something. So instead of playing like that, Li Zhuanhao chooses to press from the other side. And this is the generally correct thing to do when you have an influence, is to allow your opponent to come in and fight right next to it. You know, after White makes fighting in the center, then the Black group there, all those stones will be perfectly positioned. It'll be like every single one of them, Li Zhuanhao would want to put it on the board again. So it's sensible. But Xun Junso has made a 2-space base, and he even has some cuts to use in the corner as well. So he's definitely going to be safe with his group on the side. That's why Li Zhuanhao chooses to immediately come in and try to reduce the White shape on the bottom. So he's recognized here, okay, you've broken that. This is basically become fair either way for Black on the right side. And if my right side is fair, if my influential Moyo is fair, then I have to make yours fair as well. So he comes in and he tries to break it and just make it neutral fighting. White plays the Hane on this side, so still looking to swallow that one stone. Black doesn't want to allow that to happen too easily, plays the Hane, and White chooses to take the bottom side. So by doing this, White has not only some territorial benefit from this attack already, but even continues to emphasize on that cut, the fact that this knight's move is not well connected. And if Black just fixes that with a basic connecting move, the White cut in the center wouldn't be that put under pressure. So what Black does is he plays the vital point. This is the vital point of the mouth shape. It shows, hey, there's a cut here that you're going to have to pay attention to, White. And there's only one good move for White to play here, and it's probably not what you're thinking. It's jumping this way. And Xun Junso finds it, credit to him. You cannot protect this kind of cut if your opponent doesn't have the power to really take it. And this is a situation where if Black tries to take that cut right away, White can connect back to his group on the second line. And then this Black group is actually the weaker one when it comes to the fighting control after that. It'll have to run, and it won't be able to attack this White as much as the White is attacking Black. So in general, when you think about cutting something, you have to think, I'm the one going on offense after this cut, or you're not ready yet to do it. So that's why in this position, Black solidifies himself like this. By adding another defensive move, he's blocking any potential for White to connect on the second line if he would cut right away. So that means white needs to connect on the second line right now. Make sure that he still has a route back. Black, still not enough power to cut and really think that he's going on offense, so he gains more. Presses, presses, and jumps like this. And he wants Shinjin So to just connect here to take a nice territorial position, but not a very active position towards the fighting in the center. Shinjin So plays here. So he makes sure to reaffirm his connection on the second line over here, so that this cut is really truly Gote with respect to the center. Then if black cuts, white will get the first move. White will be the one who's most attacking. But it means that black gets to play the first move on the outside. So black knows this. Again, that cut, we're not ready yet. We have to prepare it again. We have to make sure that we have enough power that if black takes it, black really is the one attacking white, not white attacking black. White, Tenekis. This one is mostly just trying to go for a Sentai here. White plays these moves, trying to force black to respond, and black does actually respond. And then finally, white connects here. The reason why white played those is white thought after connecting, black will somehow try to attack his right side. So he makes these exchanges so that when he connects like this, then black's any attack on the right side is much harder to handle because of this stone at S8. Actually, it's quite instructive as well that Shinjin So played S8 rather than I think most people's natural move is this one. Either way, your threat here, if black completely tenukis, is that you can peep and save this cutting stone and capture the whole black bottom right corner. That would be bigger than the center. But while threatening that, Shinjin So could play any move. He didn't play the one which keeps the territory. This one, black can still capture that stone and get more territory later, but he played the one that gives him strength on the right side. You can see when white plays this move, there's no chance for black to do any crazy attachments and cuts or anything like that, at least not right now, because that stone will assist white in power. So after making those exchanges, Shinjin So comes back to connect here, and black tries to go for an attack anyway. He plays this one. Actually, it's a very sharp move. It reminds me of a game I recently watched by Huang Wangshe. The meaning is black cuts here, and white can capture those two stones. It's not like this is a cut which black is planning to try and capture some white. He's completely allowing white to capture the two stones live easily. But white doesn't do that. White extends here. Why? Because if you capture these, black can make this Atari first and then play this move and this move. And now remember how I was praising that S8 for being very nice, solid, strong move. At this point, white already has so much power that it's just overkill. And if you could, you would love to move that S8 down to S7 and show white has a little bit more territory instead, because no matter what, this white group is alive. From here, black would have quite a nice surrounding on the top side, and white might end up in trouble. That's why Shinjin So chooses this one instead. And this one offers black basically the same deal, where black can try to capture these two stones, but again, you take the Atari here, because black's response does not take a liberty, and then you take your Sente and your Sente, and now the black group, even though it captured a stone, you now can look at the R14 stone and you can say, wow, double empty triangle, that's the one that's like way too much. Of course, you don't want to have that R14 stone there, and that's why white is better here. So it's quite an interesting sequence where both players are sacrificing the two stones on the side and looking to make their opponent over-concentrated, make their opponent's stones in the wrong position rather than caring about exactly saving every stone. Okay, it was really cool. But after white plays here, white has an Atari all the time at 09. White's group on the right side is pretty much alive. So black has to go do something else. He chooses to connect at 77, looking for a pushing cut in white's shape and looking to just defend his own shape. White answers like this, so taking some territory in the corner while giving black the power, and black pushes again to the left side. If white would get the next move there, it would be quite annoying for white to take the left side while threatening to cut white off, cut black off from the center. So it's a very reasonable push here, just looking to press white down, make sure that your weak group is strong. It's a nice, solid, big move. White can, though, come to the top side. So black, because he made sure that white couldn't get any free benefit on the left side, he could not spend a move on the top side building, and white gets the opportunity to play the first move, reducing. Actually, this one, we see this pretty commonly in high-level play. it threatens a knight's move slide into the corner, where black's influence here would do basically nothing if white could just get a very strong position there. But black basically invites it like this. And the reason why is if white would dive into the corner right now, black could do more than just let it live. He could try to really seriously attack it when he has this much power. So Shin Jin-so has to fall back like this, and only then black decides to block off the corner. This exchange helps black because white is now committed to that stone at p18 in some way. And when white plays here, black can play the hane to really try to start an attack. If black hadn't exchanged this knight's move and instead would just immediately fall back here, then black would still allow white to play to the center somehow, but this move, it wouldn't be answered. White would just take a powerful position on the top side, and blocking at 018 is no big deal. So exchanging this now is good timing for Li Zhuanhe. And then when Shin Jin-so takes a position on the top side, this cut is a serious challenge. And I'm sure they've researched positions similar to this before, but one of the interesting things about AI is all the top players have studied with AI about these kinds of variations and many variations that happen very often in games for the common situation. But for a situation which is a little strange, where something is a little different on this half of the board, something is a little different there, then that preparation can easily be wrong. So one of the common mistakes that happens in high-level players' games these days is that they'll play a move which AI told them was correct in another board position, but because something is slightly different in this board position, the AI will change its mind. In this case, Shin Jin-so plays here. So he's pincering these stones and looking to attack, but you may ask, why didn't he cut? I suspect this cut is something that they both know about, that they've researched before. No matter whether black connects or tiger's mouth here, it's going to lead to the same variation, where what happens is simple. White pushes on the third line, black pushes on the second line, black will save his group, the white group in there will die. In this board position, the AI evaluates that to be a good variation for white. So actually white could have cut. This variation is fine. But most of the time, when black can link up to a stone on the third line here, it's not good for white. Most of the time, if this kind of variation would happen, the third line here, it looks like a really nice extension for this black. It makes it so that black's defending shape on the top side is pretty harmonious. However, in this board position, because the center group is still somewhat weak for black, this influence for white is active. It's doing something. And that's pretty rare. Most of the time, this kind of influence is not very active. So that judgment is really, tight. It's really detailed. And the top players, even if they know maybe this is slightly better than normal to cut right away, they still don't know if it's like actually good. It's always a very difficult judgment to make. So what Shin Jin-so does by playing here is he says, hey, now if you run along the second line, you'll run into my stone. So that's going to be a good variation for me if it happens this way. And black agrees. He's like, yeah, if I run that way, it would be a good variation for you. So I need to protect this cut somehow. He says, let me make it so that I'll run into my third line stone again. Right? They go back and forth like this. But all the time my AI is saying, hey, look at that cut. That cut was actually pretty serious. You should defend it pretty actively. It was a pretty interesting sequence where these top players, if they had studied this a little more, or basically if they'd studied this kind of position in the context that this current game is in, they would play more accurately. But because their judgment is based off of AI, they're making the same mistake with each other back and forth. In the game from here, Shin Jin-so plays the knight's move. The meaning of this one is that the black group can become heavier. It can become attacked, and as that group gets attacked, maybe white can come back to attack the one black stone on the top side, and then maybe use the cut again. So black doesn't want to be heavy with this weak group. He wants to save it while emphasizing the side. He plays the attach across here. And the meaning is that he expects white to cut, and then he wants to cut on the top side. But white doesn't do that. White plays here. It would have been a dream if white would play this one and here. Normally, this variation is not good for black. But on this board position, where black has to take care of that cut, This way, although white's center power is nice, the cut is swallowed for black, and black manages to break all the territory because this part of the center is very meaningless. Both sides are quite strong here. The center power that aims towards the left center is not very valuable as much as aimed towards the right center. So that would have been good for black, but white knew that and he played here. And this was a really, really good response by Shinjin So. It's actually really difficult for Li Juanhao to play a move. He plays this one, but white can cut. Actually, my AI says black should tenuki now, which is just unbelievable to me. I would never tenuki from this position, but AI says there's nothing to do. When you play here, you get cut anyway, and black has this really, really troublesome position where he has to take care of that one stone on the top side and these two stones in the center, and there's no way to really take care of them both in good shape. Black chooses to play the descent here, but white can then cut like this. It's so painful for black in the center. Black has to play here. If you would just play in the center, then this white stone would be so light. This way, white can't connect on the top side because black has a ladder. So white needs to extend one time, break the ladder, and then connect on the top side. It means that black is challenging that this whole area can be his for free. He plays this attach, helping to fix the cut, helping to defend himself, and he's trying to say that this white group in the right center can be swallowed, but white's shape towards the upper left was so beautiful. White pushes once, pushes again, pushes again. You can see he's going to try to take care of his group in the right center. He says, yeah, that's going to be hard to take care of, but it's not going to be dead. And he's right about that. Shinjin So can definitely save that group. But even when he does save that group, where's black's territory? If this will save itself, which it definitely will, even it's kind of attacking the black at this moment, and this will save itself, black only got the second line from the top side. I mean, yeah, he swallowed the corner, but it's nothing that severe to get that. And even white is thinking about attacking in this position. So Shinjin So definitely has a lead in this fighting. That initial bump on the top side was just perfect. It was unanswerable for black. Shinjin So takes the corner here. He's giving himself a route to connect back with his stones there, if black would even save. He's also basically just taking away any chance that these black stones will save by themselves in the corner. And so black just has that really uncomfortable position where there's basically nothing to do but protect himself and hope that these white groups will fall flat on their faces somehow. Shinjin So plays a sente, saves his group on the top side, and black exchanges something here, white cuts, and Ataris. My AI told me that this Atari is a significant mistake, and instead it's better to play here. This move takes more territory on the side, and it also makes a life just like the other one did. If black tries to play here, then either way, white can Atari, and black cannot save that cutting stone. So there's no way, no matter how black tries to do it, there's no way to cut this white after you play the tiger's mouth on the side there. But to be honest, if I were playing white, I would also have Atari'd here. This one also makes a life. You can either capture this one stone or come back to play the tiger's mouth later. And it looks like you should prevent black from playing that bump that I just showed, where he aims at the cut and at the same time reduces some of the eye space on the side. I'm guessing that my AI thinks this one is not as good because black can capture the stone later and try to make the white a smaller life, a smaller territory. But yeah, if I were playing, I would do this as well, and I can't really consider it a mistake. I don't understand how it would be punished, to be honest. Well, black continues by attacking. So the top white group there, it should be able to save itself because the black left side group, the black center group, they're both weak. There's some cutting Aji over here where black hasn't completely killed off those two stones, and white can look to connect back to his group in the right center, which is definitely alive. However, it's pretty hard to actually grip all of those weaknesses. Like, where do you go? If you just run in a very basic way, then black may surround you and you may not be able to make two full eye spaces. This is a moment where the top player's skill needs to shine. Shinjin So plays attachment here. Attaching on the other side. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to tax black's effort to surround this white group by reminding black of his cutting points, of his weaknesses right away. and basically instead of emphasizing on just being very solid with this group, emphasize on an attack from both sides so that black has to maintain power in between this weak group and the other side. So black plays Hane, he's going to try to do that, and white plays this Hane, and black pretty much has to cut. White then plays this Hane, and black can run, and I thought that black had basically allowed white to extend here, and to then try to save his group on the top side where black would just capture the stone, and white would try to make his space. But Shinjin-so didn't do that. He instead played this move, which just allows black to make a Punuki. And when I was watching the game, I was like, oh, why did he do that? This looks like now white is in serious trouble on the top side. I mean, black has a free Punuki now, so white can't really do any fighting in this area. That's what I thought. And this area, I mean, black has some weakness, but if white just has to run and give black a lot of power on the left side, white could easily switch back to losing this game on territory again. White plays here. Okay, Shinjin-so understood a bit more about than me about the Punuki weakness. He understood that white, even though there is a Punuki there, white still has the potential to make a Hane, and that still has the potential to be valuable. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to run against this group on the left and threaten to surround something on the inside here. So he doesn't need to exactly connect on Dame, but connect by capturing some black stones on the inside. And black plays here. So if black had played this one, white would peep like this. And if black connects again, now white can play Hane. And you can see if black connects these stones, white can save like this. And the black group inside here would have to race against this white group. There's no way it's going to win that race. So black should connect like this. But then white can cut this way. And instead of just connecting on Dame, white manages to capture like 10 points in the center for free as he's saving his weak group. Even if black manages to make some position on the left side, this is too much for white. That's why Li Juanhao plays here. He's trying to get the absolute most benefit he can on the left side. So he's saying, if you will chase after my group in the center, at least let me really dominate and push you down in the upper left corner. And if Shinjin-so just does that, then this game would be very close. But Shinjin-so is sharper than that. He sees there's one spot here where white can win the game. Feel free to pause the video and see if you can find it. Shinjin-so plays the knight's move. It's a really good move because it's obviously attacking this black group, but it's also very obviously not really defending the white group in the center. It's not running through there, right? So your natural instinct would be, can't black just cut it? And if white tries to connect like this isn't the reason why the move was good for white. Black still has potential cuts over here, and black can try to dominate the fighting on the left. But no, the reason that this is good for white, even though black can cut here, is that white can now play this move and seal in the black group in the upper left. It's going to be a liberty race against this white group. Obviously, this white group is also going to die locally, but it has so many liberties on the top side. And even some more liberties in the center. This liberty race is not even winning by 1, it's winning by 2 for white, actually. So black needs to defend himself. He cannot strike back. He needs to simply run to the upper left corner, but white can push one time, fixing the cut in the corner, and then play this peep. Black must answer, and now strike with the Hane. Not even bamboo to just slackly save your group and continue to keep pressure on the black, but directly playing this Hane to ask black where exactly is the resource which I can attack next. Black makes some time Suji here. Actually, you could argue that these were not as severe as playing a move on the left side. If white would try to kill this group, he may be able to do it, and then this would not be as big. But in a high pressure game, it's pretty unlikely that they would go for something that risky when white believes that he is winning. And Li Juanhao tries to play the hardest fighting. He breaks the bamboo like this, always break the bamboo, and white connects. And what this means is Li Zhuanhao is not satisfied to simply allow white to save and use his cuts. He's trying to save everything as actively as he can. He's going to save these, he's going to save that group, he's going to save the group on the left side, and he's read it out. He can indeed save them, so it seems. White can push here, but black can definitely save. And white can jump here, but black saw this and he knew how he's going to save on the left. He will attach here one time. If white does anything over aggressive, then black will run on the left. So white needs to just hane, make sure that this black group is sealed in. And black saw that and he knew that he could push and cut and Atari. And what this does is it gives black the first line descent in Sente, where if white ignores, black could Atari, and it would be a connect and die. So black has one eye in the center, and he would be able to make his second eye on the side. But if he just does that, that's too passive. White would be able to strike somehow in the center. So he knew that when he saves this group, he can cut. This cut is to keep the counter pressure on white as you save your group on the side. And there's no way that white can try to bust through the shape on the side when black always has that A11 Sente, which would be good enough to live. But Xun Jinso saw this and more. He knew that all of this could happen, and he knew that then he can play the cut here. And black makes some desperate Sente moves because he sees now that when he connects his group on the right side, Xun Jinso has a great Tetsuji, the driving Tetsuji. Atari here, push, push. All of them are threatening to capture these 3 stones, which would instantly save the white group. Black must save on the side, but it gives white the chance to capture in the center. Xun Jinso knew there was no way for black to save both his group on the left side, his center, the right. It was just one step too busy for black, and it was at this moment that Li Zhuanhao resigned the game. Okay, it was a really excellent game by Xun Jinso, but also I think a really excellent game by Li Zhuanhao. A lot of very interesting decisions in the early game where both of them were emphasizing their own areas. I love to see Moyo versus Moyo battles at the very highest level. And I think it's pretty clear when you see the fighting in this game, although Li Zhuanhao may not be stronger than Xun Jinso, he's at least at a very similar level. So to me, this proves again that Li Zhuanhao was definitely not cheating in that game where he was accused of it. But nonetheless, Xun Jinso played a great game. Congrats to him for moving on to the round of 8. I hope to see you guys all again next time with more coverage. Toodaloo!